Today, the citizens will see that their government has overcome the challenges of this pandemic and have kept this parish operational and moving in the right direction. We are in a battle and have no doubt that we're in a battle. And unfortunately, battles have consequences. Our hearts and prayers are with the families who experience illness and loss during these tough times. We also extend our prayers to our first responders, the doctors and nurses who risk their lives daily as they comfort those who are actively fighting the battle of the coronavirus. Today, the public will witness the first virtual council meeting in the history of Jefferson Parish. The council wants to thank the IT department for providing the technology and the guidance necessary to make this happen. And believe me, it has not been an easy task, and we really appreciate that. We regret that we cannot have a traditional meeting. However, given the federal, state, and local guidelines restricting public gathering and encouraging social distancing, we cannot. And we must lead by example. In the chambers, I have myself, the council clerk, and a limited staff. And we're all taking the distance of roughly 6 feet apart to meet the new standards. My colleagues and other staff members are participating remotely through the magic of modern technology. I would also like to thank my colleagues on the council and the parish president and her staff for never taking their eyes off the ball and ensuring that the people we are elected to serve continue to get the goods and services this parish has to offer. And one example is ensuring that meals get delivered to the most critical. Please patronize our local businesses when possible. We ask these businesses to donate to our causes when we need donations. Now they need us. Please thank them for following local, state, and federal recommendations serving our community. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And I am proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with my Jefferson Parish family and keep moving Jefferson Parish in the right direction. And we will get through this together. And thank you. And Madam President, I don't know if you would like to address the council at this point.
Yes, I would, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and honorable council members. We in Louisiana have 16,284 cases as of at this moment, with 582 deaths. In Jefferson Parish, the current number is 3,922 cases with 137 deaths. Louisiana as a state remains the top of the country. We are the third highest per capita in cases. We remain the third highest per capita in deaths. And what I always try to reiterate as the numbers go is that means the greater New Orleans area being a hot spot for Louisiana, and unfortunately that region is growing, the rates are even more difficult. The rates are even higher rates for our area. I will note that Jefferson Parish demographics do not help this situation. We have 20% of our population over 60 years old, and we do also have those other difficult comorbidities: hypertension, diabetes, obesity, heart and kidney disease, which we think are part of the reasons for our high death rates. But, you know, Louisiana, it's been told, the governor announced yesterday, we do have the highest rate in the country for testing on a per capita basis, which we know is so critical in this fight. And I'm very proud of the people who, even at this moment, stand up the Ilario Testing Center, as well as sites in New Orleans, for reaching their daily capacity and helping in this cause. That Ilario Center site, we want to remind everyone, you just have to be a Louisiana resident, 18 years of older, and show symptoms. You do not need to show an insurance card. It's no need for an insurance card. But that site is open every day at 8 and will be closed on Easter Sunday. So we will close that site on Easter Sunday. And I have to thank all of our volunteer fire departments on the West Bank for being at that site. Louisiana National Guard, our emergency staff, our Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, and also Scott Boyle with the Department of Transportation with the state. I also wanted to make note that if people are looking at the daily numbers that the state puts out at noon on the Louisiana Department of Health website, we know there is something wrong with our Jefferson Parish testing numbers. In fact, yesterday, they only attributed 4,300 tests to Jefferson Parish, where we know at the Ilario site alone, we've done 4,000. And of course, we know major hospitals are testing as well. So we know something is wrong with those numbers, that the Jefferson Parish testing numbers are being underreported, and we are trying to get some answers as to why those numbers are not correct. As many of you have noted, and through that we had to close the Bonneville boat launch on Sunday. The beautiful weather coupled with everyone's cabin fever has brought people outside. And again, we are in the stay at home and only go out for essential services mode. So with that, we have decided to close during Easter Sunday, Lafreniere Park, Bucktown Marina, and Bonneville boat launch. This is strictly a measure for us to not put our recreational employees in danger of having to disperse crowds, not put our Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office in the way of having to approach people and disperse crowds when we are really at a stay-at-home mode right now. So it just doesn't fall in line with that. So we encourage everyone to enjoy your family, stay in your neighborhood, go for a walk in your neighborhood, and also to be part of a new kind of Easter egg hunt, to decorate an egg and put it in your window, so the children in your neighborhood can go on that new kind of Easter egg hunt that we hope everyone will participate in. I know I've assigned my daughter to do that for my family. So pick the best artists in your family and show off a beautiful Easter egg. I do want to thank Lowe's last week for an incredible donation of PPE. Thank the Second Harvest Food Bank, who's been working hand in hand with all the initiatives on the council side to feed people. I'm hearing incredible stories every day, and I just want to thank everyone for really pitching into our community when we need it the most. And there's nice to have some other wins in the parish besides the news of a global pandemic. I'm very proud and happy to say that Tim Palmetier in our finance department, who's our director, and Madison Martin in our accounting director, who's our accounting director, has been the recipient of the Government Finance Officer Association Award. This is a very prestigious award for financial reporting, and it's one of the highest recognitions you can get in governmental accounting. We have been the recipient of this award, Jefferson Parish, for 33 years, and proud to bring that home again this year. We know this next year will be a challenge. We will have a lot of accounting and budgeting issues to work through at the remainder of this year, but we look forward to them hopefully continuing such excellent work. Also, there was a rescue of a baby bald eagle. Our Jefferson Parish Animal Control Department helped coordinate the rescue of that eaglet. The baby eagle was injured with a fishing lure and a treble hook on its leg. And this was a wonderful team effort by, again, our animal control, parks and recreation, drainage, parkways, and emergency management, plus a whole host of volunteer people in the community. So we couldn't have done it without Abita Tree Service, Entergy, PJ Hahn, who I know, and he was reporting from his Facebook page, homeowners Daphne and Danielle Foote, where the eaglet has been living in the tree in their backyard, and Marietta Adams and Chris Lungsgaard, also from the neighborhood, who assisted. So we want to thank you for that great success story. And also, I personally, we are Jefferson Parish government, but we are also a very large employer. And I want to thank our frontline Jefferson Parish employees who show up to work every day. When many of us are staying home, many of us still have to come to work. Some of the departments, transit, public works, juvenile services, the animal shelter, Jeff Cap Fire, our emergency management officers, just to name a few. We know it's not always fair, and some people are at home, and we've committed to giving everybody a paycheck, and others have to go to work. But we all take a pride. I know you all and your staffs take a pride. Certainly, we on the administration side take a true pride in being able to serve in this mission. And I want to thank those Jefferson Parish employees who are showing up every day to provide for Jefferson Parish at such a critical time. And then lastly, Mr. Chairman, we do have several employees who are very sick, maybe who have lost family members. So we would like to continue to keep them in our prayers, because we, just like everybody else, has much personal suffering going on. And I want to echo, the true soldiers in this fight is the medical community. So if we can, as you said, support a restaurant, maybe do a takeout for somebody in the medical community in your neighborhood, you're just doing two items of incredible goodness. So I would encourage everyone to maybe do a pickup order for the medical employee that you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. Once again, I had said that I would keep repeating this throughout the council meeting. We have a handful of people who queued up that want to speak and comment at one point, but we need to make sure that you press 0 to connect to be able to comment. So please, if you're calling in the number, area code 504-758-3117, you need to press 0 to connect and queue up to be able to speak at the appropriate time. That being said, I have hands raised for comments from my colleagues. At this point, I would like to recognize Councilman Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just like to say first, obviously we're in unprecedented times, and this is an historic day for us as a council. I wish we were making this history under different circumstances, but to do this first virtual meeting and to continue doing the business of the parish was extremely important to us. And I thank you and your staff, Mr. Chairman, for leading the drive to get this done, and our IT department and everybody else who are too many to name right now for making this possible today. I'm sure right now watching this meeting, we have more than normally sit in the chamber. So we do have a lot of eyes on us today, and I appreciate the hard work you put into this. The rest of my council members, colleagues, we're here to do a public service, and I think you go through the day-to-day to get to times like this where you really show your worth and your value and why people put you here. And I think to see everybody pivot the way that they have from the issues that look mundane now that we were dealing with for our first 3 months in office to these really important issues today, I've been proud to be associated with you all. So thank you all for the great work that you've done since this started a few weeks ago. All the parish employees as well, I'd like to echo the parish president's sentiments. Amazing work by everybody on the front lines in the parish who are dealing with people every day and putting themselves at risk at times. The frontline workers in our hospitals, doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, police, fire, EMS, grocery store employees, volunteers, anybody else who is working that I don't have time to mention right now. We couldn't be where we are without you providing the essential services that you do. My heart certainly goes out to those who are hurting financially and personally right now. People have lost loved ones. Businesses are suffering. I'm a small business owner, right there with you. It's hard, and you've had to lay people off. You're wondering if you'll survive. I hope on the other side of this that we continue to be in good shape in this parish and that we can persevere, and the government assistance that is out there will be taken advantage of in a big way. We'll certainly get through this alone, but together. Remind everybody to please do your part. It's not time to let up just because we see some positive news in flattening the curve. We're only starting to flatten the curve. It's not flat. And then once you start to flatten it, you have to go down the other side. We haven't begun to march down the other side yet. So please keep up the good work that Jefferson Parish is doing. We can do better. Avoid large gatherings and make sure that you don't go out unless you need to for those essentials. I hate again that we have to go through this as a parish, but I know we'll be stronger on the other side of this. Tremendous people in this parish, and I'm just proud to be associated with everybody involved in this response to the pandemic. And on a lighter note, we were all very happy to find out that the chairman, Ricky Templett, was going to cut all of our hair to keep us looking good for our next meeting on April 22nd. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Councilman Walker, for all your kind comments. So we'll move on now to Councilwoman Van Vranken.
Thank you, Council Chairman. We each represent districts that are diverse and have so many assets and resources. And I can't help but think this morning of one of the most wonderful things in our district, in District 5, East Jefferson General Hospital, to see the doctors, the nurses, the hospital staff, everyone on the front lines just the level of dedication and effort and energy that is being exhibited at EJ as they care for our community in this time of crisis. So just could not let this moment pass without saying a heartfelt thank you to each and every person, the 3,000 employees affiliated with the hospital, all of those working every day to keep our community safe, our loved ones and family members and friends who need their expertise at this moment. So again, first and foremost, to thank all of those at East Jefferson General Hospital. And then just a thank you to the community. You know, so often we're monitoring Facebook and different neighborhood pages, and you'll see fussing about little things. I have not seen that in several weeks now. What you see are messages from people about what they need. I've had messages from nurses saying, I'm at the hospital all day. I'm looking for some hand sanitizer. I'm looking for, something in particular. And to see neighbors coming across for each other, providing those things, it's just been a wonderful, beautiful thing to see that reminds us all about what a special place we all call home in Jefferson Parish. So again, thank you to each and every one in our community who's stepping up for their neighbors to be there in this time of need. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Van Rankin. At this point, I'd like to recognize Councilman Impostata, and I do have to say, he was one of the ones strongest suggesting that we host a virtual council meeting. And Councilman Impostata, I want to say I appreciate that.
Right there. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Council Chairman. I appreciate that. And, as I said in my inauguration speech a few months ago, seems like an eternity ago, even though it's only actually, funny enough, 2 months ago to the day, I believe, right? January 8th, we were all sworn in. But ideas are great, but unless you can get 4 other people to agree with you, it's not worth scratch paper. So that, I think, is the message, and that's what I'm the proudest to be able to be a part of this meeting today, because it wasn't one person's idea. It wasn't a couple of people and a couple of objections. There was a unanimous effort by all 7 members of the council, the parish president, and the administration up and down to send a message to Jefferson Parish and the state of Louisiana that Jefferson Parish is operating to the fullest extent possible, that our taxpayers, our constituents are going to get every single government service that they're entitled to, everything they've paid for, everything they've fought for. Jefferson Parish is providing as we sit here today, and this council meeting represents that. And I'm proud to say we've got unanimous support for some really big initiatives that this parish is going to see as we attack not the pandemic, but I'm going to say attack living under the cloud of this pandemic, and how looking at the parish, not just from a government standpoint, but from a business standpoint, from a sociological standpoint, how are we going to provide life under the current circumstances? And I think we're going to send a message that we're able to do it. And I'm confident, and I'm happy to say we've got the unanimous support of this council and our parish president and the administration to do things a little differently than we've done them before. We're looking at assigning ourselves into various committees and task forces where we're going to each take charge of certain components of our parish life and parish government and make sure that we're providing the absolute maximum service possible, that we're prepared for this now, we're prepared to get through this, and we're prepared if God forbid something like this ever happens again. We'll make sure that we are prepared, we're ready to handle this, and we're ready to make sure that our community is proud to continue to be Jefferson Parish. I know we all are, and I'm looking forward to a great day. Thank all of you for your time. Thank you, Council Chairman. Thank you, Madam President, and my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Impostata. I will now call on Councilman Lee.
Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, a day before our governor announced statistical information, and he shared that 70% of those who are sick due to the coronavirus or have died are from the African-American community statewide. That's a very sad commentary but it also speaks to many of the underlying issues in the communities. I am heavy-hearted because of that 70%, there were many people that I knew who have died, and many who are fighting right now for their lives. And so I'd just like to send out words of encouragement who are sick and the viewing audience, as well as in the entire region in the state of Louisiana and this nation. But my heart is heavy because we lost many people. Reverend Gilbert Barnes and his wife both died. Pastor Alan Creasy, who's from the Bunch Village area on the East Bank. Reverend Michael Austin, who's also from the East Bank, he passed as well. And then also, I like to say prayers, send my condolences to many people who are members of Morning Star, and ask all of us to pray for that church because they had over 20 cases in itself. But also, I'd like to send my condolences to the families of Eddie Shepard, Holly Wilson, Terry Sharp, Rufus Tinson, and Sue Fortier, and many, many others. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to mention them all, but just know that I care, Jesus cares, and this parish cares about you. And so I just wanted to make sure that those people who are nameless be named. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Lee, and our heart are with those families and our constituents. I'd like to recognize now Councilman Dino Bonanno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a parish employee for the past 32 years now, councilman, I can tell you this is a very strong and resilient parish. We have survived many disasters: the 1995 flood, Hurricane Katrina, the BP oil spill, among other things. And I can tell you we will get through this because as the parish, we always come together during these challenging times and work to help each other to get through and survive. And we will do it again this time. I'd like to ask people to remember the senior citizens in this community. They are probably the greatest generation to be affected by this illness. Not only those that got sick, but many are homebound and afraid to come out. So if you have a neighbor who's a senior citizen, please check on them. Do what you can to make sure they have their food and any other needs met. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Second Harvesters Food Bank, who has done a tremendous job in providing food throughout this parish to those who are most need, those that are unemployed, the elderly, and just those who need more assistance with nutrition with their children, et cetera. As a first responder myself, I can tell you that I'm very proud of our first responder community, the police officers, the firefighters, all the EMTs that have come together and done their job in face of this crisis and the danger it presents without hesitation. And most importantly, I'd like to thank our medical heroes. Those are the hospitals at the testing sites that have stepped up to the plate and shown up to work every day, regardless of the challenge. And they're working long, long hours, but they're doing it for their community and serving us all well. If you're looking for an opportunity to help, I suggest that you go online and donate to Second Harvesters. Every dollar that they get, they turn around and provide food and services to this community, from hot meals, the boxes of groceries to our senior citizens, as well as bulk feeding of people throughout this parish. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, they will be doing it at the Alaro Center. And I'm sorry, Wednesdays and Fridays at the Alaro Center, Mondays and Thursdays on the East Bank at the South Park. So they're doing a great job. If you're looking for somebody to support on this event, please consider Second Harvesters. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bonanno. And just 5 minutes before we came on the air, you and I were handling a senior lady who needed services for food. And I want to appreciate you taking the effort and assisting with that. All right, once again, I said we would repeat the information for people to do public comment, and we're going to do that once again. If you have a public comment, please call in at the number at 504-758-3118 and press 0 to connect. We're getting now to the persons wishing to appear before the council regarding resolutions on the agenda and the addendum agenda. And we also had some emails come in, and we'll have the Madam Clerk read if there's any emails for this public portion of the meeting first, and then we'll take phone calls. I will like to ask, as my colleagues, since this is a fluid situation, that we suspend the rules and allow, if someone wants to speak on an item, that we allow it to take place now, because this is a fluid situation, and I think we need to adjust our process. So is there any objection to suspending the rules to accept comments that are not strictly on the addendum agenda? Hearing none, so ordered. So now we're back to the persons wishing to appear before the council on. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me regress for a second. I forgot to actually recognize Councilman Marion Edwards for his comments. So let's take a moment back while everybody's calling in. Marion
Thank
Edwards.
you, Council Chairman. I just want to echo the thanks that I've already heard from my fellow council members and add a special thanks to Parish President Lee Shing and her staff, not only for her efforts helping the public, but for the efforts that she continues to show daily in keeping this council informed and involved. And I just want to say to my fellow council members, I'm very proud to be part of this body.
Thank you, Councilman Edwards.